Hey guys, it's Mark with Abs After 40, and I brought a good friend of mine here, Dr. Don Salyer, to talk to us about testosterone and how it affects the male's body, especially as we get older. Don and I did a webinar a couple weeks ago. It was really interesting, and I wanted to get him back in here so we can answer more of your questions and get a little more into depth about this. So what I want to start with is our testosterone production in older men, and a lot of you guys know this already, but as we get older, we start to lose about 1 to 2% of our testosterone production every year. So by the time we get into our mid-40s, we might be down to 40 or 50% less than our testosterone production was in its prime, back when we were in our mid to upper 20s. All right. So what can we do about that? Well, there's several things. We can do certain workouts. We can eat better. And we can take supplements. And that's why Don's here today. He's going to start talking about this. So just introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit about your background.
Okay. I started off I was a power lifter in my younger days. I got really bad injured. Had my leg and foot cut off. Had to have that reattached. Spent 8 months in the hospital. Came back, told I'd never walk again. So I started training, to get back healthy. And basically got stronger and stronger. And so I really enjoyed it. So I took off from there, and I met with some other people, and I started working out with top world champions in powerlifting, and I soon became a world champion.
At what age?
I started training and competing probably when I was 15 or 16, and by 17 I had really amassed quite a good trophy collection.
Okay, you don't have to be modest. That's really, this is
well, I had fun. I had fun, and I did it for 20-something years, guys, or more, 28 years. And so I really enjoyed it. And then after I got 40, I realized, you know what? I really wanted to be into bodybuilding. So in roughly 18 months, I went from starting. I lost 54 pounds in 3 months. I needed to get back in real tight shape to do it on a stage, as you know. And so basically in 3 months I was back on stage, and with 18 months I was on a national stage competing. So
that's an incredible story. And what age were you where you injured your leg and had it almost?
I was about 15. 14, 15.
What was it? Motorcycle?
Motorcycle.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredibly impressive and very scary at the same time. I mean, you go from almost losing your leg to being a national level power lifter in just a few years.
It's because they told me I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Well, good. Y'all need to remember that when somebody says, or when you think that you can't lose the weight or you can't get back into shape, that's total bullshit. Of course you can. You have total control of everything you put in your mouth, and you have total control of how much or how little you work out. Okay?
Guys, the most important thing is between your ears. When you make that decision to change something and get better at it, when I got back, I could barely walk. I couldn't go 8 feet. Went from not being able to walk 8 feet to being a national world champion, squatting 825, deadlifting 825, and benching 550.
That blows me away.
So
I can't even think about it.
Not bad at 160 pounds.
I can't think about numbers that big. It just hurts my back and my knees thinking about that. All right, well let's get into the testosterone a little bit real quick here.
Okay.
Can you explain to everybody why do we start losing testosterone after we peak out in our mid-20s?
Well, one thing is diet. You're not eating right. You're eating all the processed things and things that cause you to have more estrogen. So it's actually counterproductive. You become more of a woman than a man. And so what we really need to do is start working on proper nutrition. That's one aspect. The second one is you need to exercise. Okay? We lose that. Now there's other things where our Leydig cells, our testes down there, they're stimulated by different things, okay? And that's where supplementation comes in, because as we start to age, we don't have that ability. Like you said, we can lose 1% a year. By age 40 or 50, you're down to 50%.
Most guys experience some degree of
deficiency.
Thank you.
Deficiency in their testosterone.
Okay.
And basically, you can stimulate that and get it back basically through proper nutrition and exercise.
The body naturally, as we grow older, produces less testosterone. I mean, that's normal.
Right.
It happens to you. It happens to me. It happens to almost everybody. You're a freak of nature, if you're in your 40s and you haven't lost a significant amount of your testosterone production. So you're one of the lucky few.
Yeah, and you'll know it when you're getting, we call it, now they call it the dad bod, right? But what they're talking about is when you start to gain that weight around the middle, you start getting that foggy thinking, your mental clarity isn't quite there. When all that happens, pretty much your testosterone, those are peak signs that your testosterone is headed downhill.
Your general energy level
Right.
is a little lower.
Right, you're just not firing on all cylinders.
Libido in there.
Yeah, no libido.
We can do something about that, though. We're not just stuck with this, okay? We don't have to just live with this for the rest of our lives.
Oh God, no. Guys, we're living proof.
Yeah.
We're living proof here that you do not have to do that. Absolutely. If you're training properly, you get back in the gym, even if you start with little things first. You don't have to go in there and try to lift the whole house.
Yep.
Okay, you start off easy, you start off small, you make big changes day in, day out, and within a year, you can make some huge changes.
It's a cumulative thing. It's all about consistency, guys. Don't think you're going to go in there and work your ass off for 4 or 5 days and then a miracle is going to happen. You're going to wake up looking, like Schwarzenegger.
No, it's not going to happen. But you've also got to nutritionally support it.
Oh, it's huge.
Huge, because believe it or not, the food you're eating today doesn't have any nutritional value whatsoever.
And we talk about that in my nutrition programs. Certain foods that are actually good for you, that actually boost your testosterone production, and believe it or not, there's some special fats that you need to add to your diet that actually helps with testosterone production.
Absolutely.
And then there's other foods we want to take that help to suppress the amount of estrogen in your body. And for those of you that don't understand, explain what estrogen does to your...
Estrogen, what happens is a lot of men, you may either, one, produce a lot of testosterone. As you get older, it converts into estrogen. Okay? And that's where we get more body fat. We get more man boobs, that kind of thing. All that's due to estrogen production.
So every man produces some estrogen.
Yes, we need some.
Women produce a lot of it. Men produce some, but obviously we want to keep that as low as possible.
Right.
So we want to eat certain foods to help suppress our body's natural production of estrogen.
Right.
We want to eat certain foods that help us boost our natural production
Exactly.
of testosterone. So, and then the other thing is, and of course you mentioned that, is working out, certain exercises. Now, we talk about it in my Abs After 40 program, is we really focus on large muscle groups and using resistance training with compound exercises. Right. And explain to them just kind of briefly why that's important.
Why that's important is because, one, you put a demand load onto the muscle, you put it onto the bone, and that causes hormones to be triggered and your body to produce more. That's one thing. The second thing is when you cause a sacral pump, in other words, your sacrum's down here, between your butt cheeks there, guys. Basically, that flexing of that, or doing something in that range where you're doing either leg press, squats, deadlifts, all those things are moving that sacrum. Moving that sacrum increases the CFF production, which is a fluid around the spinal cord.
Okay, I don't know what CFF means.
It means just fluid around the spinal cord, and it
right.
helps to stimulate the production of more testosterone. You need to do those exercises because after the age of 50, guys, your motor end plates start to die off at about 1% per year.
I'm 53.
So if you don't activate them, now he's been activating them, okay? But if you've not been activating them, you could lose that, and that diminishes how much those muscle cells can fire. So that's going to affect you as well.
Now I want to switch over to the supplement, the third thing that you can do.
Yeah.
There's different supplements out there, and I know that we've got a really, really neat testosterone booster called Test Reload.
Yes, you do.
And you've been taking it, I've been taking it.
Right.
So talk to them a little bit about your experience and also what's in the product itself and how it works.
Well, I've been taking it for about a month and a half now. And basically what you'll see is there's documented stuff in there. D-aspartic acid, for instance, can raise your levels of testosterone 26%. So that right there brings you up a quarter, okay?
That's huge.
Then you turn around and you add vitamin D. Anything over 3,300 IUs, they have 4,000 in the product. Okay. So they're making sure that they're getting enough in that product to give you a therapeutic dose, okay? And what that means is you get results.
So this is not just like taking a multivitamin.
No. It's very specific and it's very geared to increasing just testosterone.
Okay.
Because that's what we're geared toward.
Okay. Okay.
White button mushrooms stops that conversion we were talking about, where you start to get the man boobs, increased fat. That's because your estrogen levels are going up. So it stops the conversion from testosterone into estrogen.
Okay, so there's some ingredients in there that actually help the body's natural production.
Right.
Boost our natural production of
Right.
testosterone. And then there's some other stuff, other ingredients that actually help us reduce the
Right.
effects or minimize our production of estrogen.
Right, because what we should have is we should have a yin and a yang. In other words, we should have a small amount of estrogen and a large amount of testosterone. Okay? And a lot of times what we have in today's society is just reverse of that.
Because of poor nutrition,
Poor nutrition,
exercise,
diet, and just not knowing. Just not knowing what to do and how to do it.
Thanks a lot, Don, for coming to talk to us about just what naturally occurs as we get older and what we can do about it.
Exactly.
To help either slow the process down or actually reverse it.
Reverse it.
Thanks a ton for joining us today. If y'all want any more tips on working out, nutrition, supplements, just be sure and log on to the website, send us some questions, or call in. We got a ton of coaches here who can answer your questions. And I'm signing out. I'm Mark McKillier with Abs After 40. And just remember, never give up on yourself, guys. Bye-bye.